Record first. Okay, so I'll explain more about this screen later on, and probably a better session sometime later on. But and then we can also have questions, some questions in the chat or before we end the call. But this is my TOS platform, right? So let me see if I can move this out of the way. I wish I have multiple screens, but okay. All right, so the way I've set up this, and mostly I go to charts. So on the left side is my portfolio, and the most important stock I typically follow, the news, and a watch list. Then I also have watch list of the current indexes, and based on that, I built some really quick for an active trader, which means that you're either scalping or you're trading very quickly. You have some screens here that you've set up. So usually you can set up a lot on one screen. If you have like a really big monitor, a 40-inch monitor, you could do a lot on it. Or you have multiple screens, you can put multiple screens. So you want charts on one screen, or you can have charts on the same screen. Anyway, so let me see if I can, and then I'll come back and explain this. First, I want to show you how I trade, right? So this is how I trade, and I trade only options, not stocks. But I can also show you how to trade stocks on here. So before I go into this, let me show you what my current positions are. So I currently hold about 60 Amazon stocks, right? So for example, I can just enter Tesla, and I'll also enter Facebook here. Okay, so it basically will bring your details of your the stocks, whether you're holding any positions. You can see here I'm holding 60 positions for Amazon, right? Obviously I'm waiting for the split, and if I move this into the charts, it'll automatically show me details, so I can either buy more or sell on the right hand side in the active trading window. Now the active trading window, I'm going to just minimize this, and I'm going to actually reduce this to just 2 sections maybe. That way it's a little more clearer, or maybe even 1. Actually, let's do this route. Okay, so you have an option where you can put multiple grids. Okay, it makes it more complex when you do that. If you're trading multiple, okay, but I would prefer to just start 4 or even 2, okay, depending on how much what are you trading on. Okay, so for example, if I'm doing an Amazon trade and I do Amazon here, the one good part, well, there's one more good part. So there's an option here, and I know I'm going very fast. We'll do a better link later on. So you can just set this to red. You can just set this to red and see what happens when I change this. Okay, these are all tips that I can explain to you later. So when I change the first one, the second one changes because it's linked with that color. Okay, and I'll explain this. Maybe there's a way to explain this better with 4. So I'll do Amazon here. Okay, I'll change this link here to yellow. Okay, and I'll change this guy also to yellow and see what happens. Whatever I put in here, right, will show up on the bottom as well. See how that changed? Okay, and let me undo this, and I'll explain what these bars are. So active trader. This is basically what we use. 1 second. Sure. Okay. So active trader is what we use for selling and buying. So we're, because it's just a one-click trade. And then the other option is charts, right? So you want to see charts on these trades, so you can put charts. So you need to just hover over these and tell you what each things are. So time of sales and all that. So right now we're only going to focus on active trade. Okay. So for these are actual stocks, what you're saying. So how do you trade options, right? So there's an option here when you go into trade, and so there's a trade bar up here. So I don't know if you guys noticed. I'm going to try to go very slow here. So there's a trade option here and a chart option here. Okay, so what I would typically do, and there is a video on this that I'll share, a YouTube video on how to set up all this. That's how I learned. So you would go here and find the stock you're trading. Okay, and And this is only available in TOS. And then you could see various expiry dates on here, right? So for example, Nitin talked about 10th June, 17th June. So you see the dates here. So I let's say we pick today's date or this week's date. And then you can scroll down. So your first option, if when you set it up first time, it will only show 4, which means the 4 strike prices. Instead of that, you can expand to all. Okay. And then you could go down here, and based on how the market is moving. So right now the stock price is 24.51 here. Okay. So I typically trade because I'm going to do a fake trade here. Like, I'm going to actually use real money. I don't want to lose too much. So let's go with Facebook because I want to trade a smaller stock option. So I don't want to pay too much for this bad trade. So let's say Facebook is at what, 195, right? So what I'm going to do just for the training purposes. So I'm going to just do a quick, so 195, I typically trade at the level of the stock price because the premium there is usually higher, but you have a chance of not losing too much. I mean, this is just my philosophy. Some people can trade, some people decide they'll trade at 200. So let's also do that, right? So we can trade. So on the left side, you have calls, on the right side, you have puts, right? So right now we're doing calls. So what I'm doing is based on a $200 call is 62 cents. Okay, so it's a pretty small trade, right? So the cost of the trade for me would be, what is 62 if I do one trade here. So now that I've set up, so what I've done is I've taken the two. So I'm going to do this one more time, guys. So just so you saw what I did. So I right clicked, copied, and went here and pasted this value. Okay, so then you could see those options watch list on there. And then what I'll do is I'll go here and drag it to one of my screen. What happens immediately? I see my chart changed, right? So you can do a little more filter, and chart is usually set up on a daily chart. I change it to a minute chart, okay? Because if you're scalping, you're doing a minute chart. And then I also do some settings here. So you can go into the setting button here, and then you could buy and sell market. You could remove some of these. I can share this out to you guys. You can always, so, and then I would say buy ask and buy bid, sell ask, sell bid. I actually add a few more options here. Okay, and then you drag it down here. Okay, so you see it comes up with all these options. So you got to learn a little bit of this. So what we're doing is we're going to just do one trade, and this auto send button. So if you want to do like a very quick trade, and you just enable this, and it doesn't ask for confirmation. If you don't enable this and I say buy market, I will get a confirmation screen like this. But if I don't do that, I'm gonna do a quick trade here. Okay, so watch, right now it says 0. Okay, so I'm just gonna do market. Okay, we'll do market. So market price is usually the ask price. So whenever you do market, it will buy the ask. Okay, ask is usually higher than the bid. So you can see here, the ask is usually higher than the bid. You can also say join the bid and it will fill whenever. So if you notice here, it will say fill when it hits 60, right? 60 cents. And if the stock goes down, it will fill the stock. So I could either do that, or I just hit the X mark and cancel that, or I could just do a buy market. Okay, so what happens? Buy market immediately fills. There, you see the symbol here, it immediately filled. Okay, and as soon as it filled, it will show me how much $64 trade here. I know it's very small, but you can see here it's a $64 trade. Right now I'm doing a negative $1.54, right? So I'm kind of down. But I could wait. Let's see, the $2 down. So I'm negative $2. So I'm just going to close it. Okay, and then I just do sell market, and it's done. it'll close. I basically did not make much on that. It's a $0 trade. Okay, so okay, so let me open it up for questions, because for now I'm just going to show that, and then we can talk more. So I could do, so just one more thing, I could do 40 trades, I could do 2 trades, I can increase the number as many as I want. And that's what I wanted to show real quick. Because I like this, I do like this platform because of how quickly it lets me trade, and that's why I recommend using TOS. But some people like E-Trade, some people like other platforms. So, all right, so I'll stop there, and we'll have another session, guys, for more questions. But let me know if anybody has any questions, and I can answer.
Yeah, one question, like if you see like ask size like 155, 85,
I can't
70,
hear you. A second, maybe it's my audio. Hang on a second. Go ahead.
yeah, history. So if you see the screen for FB on the right side, the ask size and the bid size. So what are those? Those are like number of people buying
No.
that option.
Yeah,
77.
that's how many people are. Yeah, so these numbers, right, are the number of people buying at that price or asking to sell at that price. So you could basically, if you set your, you can also do something like this. So let's try something, right? So instead of doing the buy and sell, right, you could go look at these numbers here, bid size, and you could just set it to buy here, right? So if I do this here, what happens? It'll do an instant buy because it should fill if somebody is buying. So it didn't fill quick enough. Yeah, I typically don't use this Ashma tree, but usually this is the quantity of people who are, or quantity of trades that are getting executed at that point.
Thank you.
So I canceled that trade, by the way. So Shri is the same Shri I know. Okay. All right, who's next?
I have a question. When you say one trade, two trade, so is one trade is equals to 100 shares? As what we do in Robinhood?
Yeah, for in options, right? So if you trade at 68 cents, which is one trade, and the actual cost of that trade is multiplied into 100. It's 100 times. So it's basically, it's like buying 100 shares, right? So 100 times, so 65 is multiplied into 100. So your cost of your share, like cost of your option contract is $66.
Okay, yeah.
So if you buy 100, then it's 100 into 100 into 65.
Okay, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why option shares are not 68 cents. They look like they are, but it's actually $68, the cost of that contract. It's one contract. Yeah.
One contract. So in any platform, it's like a minimum contracts we buy is one,
yes.
Right?
Yes. Correct. So whenever Nitin talks about buying and selling or averaging, right? So we buy, let's say right now we bought at 63, and if I had waited, right, it actually went to 70, right? So I bought at $65, it went to $70. I would have made $5 profits on that. Now, if it went down, then he talks about averaging, right? What is averaging? Averaging, basically, I bought one at 65 cents. It went to 55 cents. Then I bought another one. It's basic averaging, right? So now I bought one at 55 cents. So technically now I have two shares at 60 cents. Does that make sense? Two contracts at 60 cents, right? So that's what you average. So the reason why we average is, and I think you guys kind of know that, right? So if you buy out at 65, if you bought at 65 and the share value, so these contract values will go up, these contract premiums is what we call them, right? These premiums are directly tied to the share value, right? So if Facebook is going up, And this premium, we talk about premium burning, right? And Shri can probably also explain. The premium will go up if the share value goes up, right? And if it goes sideways, if the share is going sideways, meaning it's maintaining at 190, Facebook is maintaining at 195, it will, it's basically it's maintaining, right? Sometimes the premium will go down if the share doesn't go up. So premium prices will decrease over time. And it also decreases over days, number of days. So a lot of people talk about data, right? So I don't understand how the logistics on data is calculated, but every day your premium value goes down if you're waiting for longer days for it to, for you to sell the trade, right? So that's why people don't advise on swinging trades as much as possible. You don't swing options, because what happened with Facebook yesterday, right? Those kind of news can come after hours, and Facebook can fall from 195 to 160, right? For whatever reason, right? So that's why it is not really advisable unless you're in profit, really good profit, and you're planning to risk that trade, right? So $66, let's say we buy a trade, or let's say you spend $6,000. Let's say you bought 100 trades, 100 contracts. Now it's $6,000 worth of trade, right? Now how much and if that 65 cents became 35 cents, then your contract would, your cost of that contract would be cut in half overnight. If the stock falls down overnight in the morning, first thing in the morning, options, because options are only traded between sorry, I'm trying to get the time of this, Eastern time. What is this? It's 8:30 Central to 3 o'clock, right? So those are the option period when you can buy and sell. Those are the only times you can buy and sell options. So news coming before and after market can kill your premium. If it's a bad news. If it's a good news, it might go up.
So if the premium goes up, we are in profit.
Yes.
Okay.
What we're looking for premium is to go up. Right. So since we bought this trade, and I've already sold this trade, right? So 65 cents, it went to 70, right? So as it went to 70, we could have sold and would have made a $5 profit on that.
Yes. So averaging is like you're buying two contracts. Say one contract is at 70 and the other is at 65, but the contract value will be the same. Only thing is your overall cost will be small.
You're averaging your cost, yes.
Okay, yeah. Because the option stays the same, right? When you buy it low, or
yeah, when you bought the contract, let's say at 70 cents, then it fell down to 65. So you bought another contract at 65. So you have two contracts, one at 70, one at 65, but your average is 67.5.
Yes.
Yeah. So if it hits 70, you would be in profit. If it hits 68, you're in profit.
Right. Yes. Yes.
So sometimes when you average, right? So averaging on bigger numbers, sometimes helps, sometimes it could go really wrong. So averaging, you got to know when to average. That's why don't average unless Nitin tells you to average, right? Because people will see, I've made mistakes where I average very quickly. So when it's at 70 cents and it goes to 68, I quickly average. But when it's going down, it will go down very fast. So you want to wait till it goes really down before you average down, because your average. So if you have a $70 contract or a 70-cent contract, averaging at another 50 cents will give you a better average, right? Versus averaging at 68.
Right. Yeah.
So you gotta wait. So if the market's going down, wait till it hits the bottom. So what is the bottom? It's basically your support sometimes is the bottom, or if it breaks support, it could be much more bottom. So you want to wait till Nitin tells you when to average before you actually average. That way, right now, while you're learning, just take help from Nitin.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm watching Amazon still going up. It's looking good. Any other questions, guys? I'm going to end this call pretty quickly, but if you have any other questions which you have, feel free to ask. Okay, I don't think any question is stupid. feel free to
Hey,
ask.
Vamsi, on that Facebook sell call for the 10th of June, so was
Right.
there something in the technical charts which seemed to suggest that I think we still have 8 more days? So was it
Yeah,
looking
because
like probably
June
it is
10th.
better to sell off and then exit,
Yeah,
or
the reason why he said June 10th, the reason why he said we can wait is because we have another week before Facebook can move up or down. So see, if you bought June 3rd calls, that would end tomorrow and your options will expire. That means if you don't sell all your contracts, you lose your money, right? Whatever is left in there. So because he suggested good trades because he suggested trades 1 week out. So he was expecting the trade will go up. Uh, with the bad news, it went down, but because we had another 10 days or actually 7 days, there's a good chance Facebook will recover.
right? And maybe going forward, so will this be the approximate pace that let's say most of the recommendations, will it be 1 or 2 weeks out, or it really depends?
No, I think we're just not being aggressive now. So usually what happens is if you're a week out or 2 week, and I think this is more of a Nitin question, but I actually asked him the same question, why he's recommending a week out or 2 week out. The volatility of the stock or the option contract will be less if it is 2 weeks out. Meaning if you're buying tomorrow's expiry, June 3rd expiry, the premiums move very fast up or down, right? Mostly down, it moves very fast. The premium burn is very fast because the expiry date is just 1 day. Because if you have June 10th or June 17th, premiums won't burn off so easily. So waiting, so you can still recover if you have calls that are 2 weeks out or 1 week out. Yep. So if you guys are holding any Amazon options, go ahead and sell all of them. It's a good time to sell. And does that answer your question?
Yep. Because I think so
And
far I'm enjoying it. I'm just thinking that, if it is very fast in the sense that buy today, sell tomorrow, then I think we just have to concentrate more on the messages. So if it is 1 or 2 weeks out, at least I personally will be more comfortable.
Yeah. So, I mean, so you can also make a decision to see, you don't have to always stick to what Nitin's recommending, right? So Nitin might say June 3rd, but what are you comfortable with? So let's look at the price, premium price for 167. So I would go with what he's suggesting, but let's say you are good enough to figure out your own trades. I'm also sticking to what he's suggesting. But if you want to make, if you decide, let's say, hey, Nitin is suggesting June 3rd, right? But you would want to take June 10th call. So let's look at one call for a change. Okay. So I'll take 197.5. So the June 3rd call is $1.77. Okay, for 197, right? So let's go to June 4th. Okay, so 197 is looking at $4.85. So you're paying more premium and for the same strike price. And this premium will go up far. It will be a little more stable because it has another 7 days of expiry, right? That's why it's also costly. So you probably pay more. So in this case, you're paying $500 versus paying if you're going with the same. So the risk is this will expire tomorrow, right? So if the stock goes down, you don't have much time to wait for it to go back up. Does that make sense?
Yep. Thanks.
Again, guys, this is just a casual call that I'm trying to show. I would. This is more of a Nitin's question than mine. So ask this question when Nitin does the demo. Okay.
Sure. Thanks.
I have a question. Like yesterday, I got one FP around 2 point something, 3 points something. So today also we got one and we sold one. Today's 03 June 3rd call, but I'm still holding yesterday's call. So is it good to hold because we have an expiry on June 10th? As we are seeing the FP price is moving up.
I think FP he's already asked to sell all, right? He said hold only stocks. Don't hold options. He's already said don't hold options for FB or Amazon. If you're holding stocks, it's fine. But for Facebook, if you're on the positive, go ahead and sell it.
I'm still negative. So yeah.
It's okay to sell on negative too if it's not too bad. If it's not too negative, you can go ahead and sell it. I mean, we can't predict what's going to happen, but he's already suggested to sell it, right?
Okay. I'll sell it. So
go ahead and get rid of it. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Vamshi. And one more thing, what is this break-even price when you're buying an option? So does the
I'm actually, so I think see, and this I'm taking a guess because I never really looked into that. I think what they're saying is you need to hit that stock price for you to get your returns. That's what my somebody else knows the answer, go ahead answer. I have never really looked into that as much, so that could be a question for Nitin. My
Sorry,
thing
I didn't
is
see
that
the question. Where is the break-even price?
so I think it's not in here, it's usually in Robinhood or Webull. Yeah, I think it's
okay.
Robinhood.
I think that's pretty much where they say what the strike price plus or minus premium is. So if you're paying $1 for a premium, so for a 150 strike, for a call, it is 151 is when you break even, because until then, until 151, you are paying for the strike plus the premium or the contract for the contract. So you need to be 151 to actually make any money.
Yeah, so basically if you bought at 195, so for you to break even, like this is just an example, they might say you need to reach a stock price of 197 for Facebook for you to break even. Guys, we'll stop the call for now because I'm running out of the Zoom. I need to purchase a Zoom license one, but the meeting, we have 10 minutes, but I'm going to end the call because I got to head out. But I'll take one or two more questions before we close it out, if there are any more.
Thank you so much, Vamshi.
Yeah, we'll do another session at much more detail, much more slower. And I think the reason why I wanted to do this during the live is because I'll be able to show you guys what these tools are. So one thing about, if you have Thinkorswim, right, I can actually share this setup, and there's an option to test the setup using your there's an always option to test within paper trading, right? So when I log in, it gives you an option to do paper trading. So but I'm gonna go ahead and save this, and then I'll say if you guys are using TOS, I can share this with you. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So let me know in the chat. Let me know what else you want to know. But I'm not I can, I'm not I don't do anything but TOS for E-Trade or Robinhood. I think Nitin, we can do a demo, but I can do a demo on Webull if I need to, but I used to use Webull in the past, but I actually like Webull just for the maps, just for the charts, sorry. So I use Webull just purely for charts. But other than that, I use, so my one screen is usually Webull because I like how the charts are displayed there. But for trading, I use TOS for quick in and quick out.
I can second that one. So I've been trading quite a bit, but again, not very profitable. That's another story. But Thinkorswim is the best one with regards to what you can trade because other brokers put a lot of restriction. Thinkorswim has the best tools and also one of the better fills compared to the other ones. So if you have nothing, Thinkorswim is good. Tastyworks is okay, but they don't have good fills. So Thinkorswim is probably the go-to option.
Yeah, there's a lot of education in here that I probably don't know 90% of the tools, but if you have Thinkorswim, you can have a 45-minute demo directly from TD America will do a direct demo for you, and then there are some YouTube videos I'll share later today that you could easily learn by yourself. The majority of my setup came from YouTube, so I'll share you I'll share you guys that particular setup, that particular video, and that way you guys can get familiar with that. Okay. All right, we'll do another extensive session once I'm back to US. I do want to show you a few more, how to set up indicators. There's one more thing that I do want to quickly show. So where is that? So there's a way to add studies. This is one good part I like about Thinkorswim. So I find that studies. So let me see here. So I think it's in. Huh. I thought
It's
I
on
had
the
a
charts. It's if you whichever screen you were
adding a study, right?
Yeah. It should be on the right or somewhere.
Sorry.
No, it's on the right. No. It's on the same screen. You're using the active trader screen. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I should have active trader. I should have a chart option here.
Yeah, I think there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. Right here. No, let me see. I mean, I can show you later. Let's see. Maybe it's the chart. Yeah, sorry.
It's on the chart. Yes.
Yeah. You're right. So in here, let me close this out. Studies, right? So there's some common studies that I've actually. I think this is one study that Shri shared with me long time back. This is the ATR values. And come on, my mouse is not working, but okay. So there are some common studies that you could use. Where is that? So this is a good study that you could actually use. And here it says reversal, right? So this usually these studies are not accurate to the point, because the reversal sometimes you could always buy when it says reversal and sell when it says downward reversal, but these are not as accurate. These are usually after the fact, right? But we'll talk about these later, because there are some studies that you could use to help you trade better. We'll talk more on that in the next session. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining. And I'll share the video.
Thank you, Vamshi.
Thank you, Vamsi.
Bye. Good luck on your trades.